Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome from the AFC House in Kuala Lumpur, the home of 47 member association from the continent of Asia. My name is Zhong Huan, and I'll be taking you through today's highly anticipated event, the AFC Women's Asian Cup India 2022 Qualifiers draw. The latest edition in Jordan made history in women's national team football when it was first held in West Asia, inviting 8 of the best women's national team. However, the upcoming edition in India looks like to create even more history, as the competition now been expanded from 8 to 12 teams. Now, before we discover the fate of 33 participating teams, we know what's coming up. Let's take a look at this draw mechanics video to understand how the draw works.
AFC Women's Asian Cup India 2022 Qualifiers Draw Mechanism. Entries: 34 Asian Football Confederation AFC member associations have expressed their interest to participate in the AFC Women's Asian Cup India 2022. Competition format. The competition comprises the following qualifying and final stages. Seeding. The draw seeding shall be based on the AFC Women's Asian Cup Jordan 2018 rankings. The teams which did not participate in the 2018 edition have been added as the lowest ranked teams. Mode of competition. The top 3 teams of the AFC Women's Asian Cup Jordan 2018, as per the seeding above, and the 2022 host India, will receive a direct qualification into the final competition. The 28 member associations shall participate in the AFC Women's Asian Cup India 2022 qualifiers. Based on the total number of 28 member associations in the qualifiers, there shall be 4 groups of 4 teams and 4 groups of 3 teams. Each group shall play a one-round league format in a centralized venue, where each team in the group shall play 1 match against every other team. 8 group winners shall qualify for the final competition. The member associations that have expressed their interest to host the qualifiers will be drawn into separate groups. Groupings and match dates. The following match sequence applies for the groups of 4 teams. The number designates the position drawn in each group. The following match sequence applies for the groups of 3 teams. The number designates the position drawn in each group. The AFC Women's Asian Cup India 2022 qualifiers shall be played from 13th to 25th September 2021. Draw principles. The draw will separate 28 teams into 8 groups as per Table 4. Teams will be allocated into 4 seeding pots according to the team seeding and 1 host's pot. Each host member association will be taken from their seeding pot and placed in a separate pot in accordance with their original seeding, in order to draw them into different groups at the beginning of the draw. The host member associations are Bangladesh, Chinese Taipei, Indonesia, Myanmar, Nepal, Tajikistan, and Uzbekistan. Draw mechanics. Draw will commence in the following sequence. Host's pot. The first team to be drawn will be allocated into Group A. However, its position in Group A will depend on the seeding of the drawn team. For instance, if Chinese Taipei, Myanmar is drawn, they will be positioned as A1. But if Tajikistan or Uzbekistan is drawn, they will be positioned as A2, while Bangladesh, Indonesia or Nepal will be positioned as A4 if drawn as first team. The second team to be drawn will be allocated into Group B. The same position allocation principle apply to Group A. The remaining balls will be allocated into Group C, D, E, F and G accordingly. The same principle applies on confirmation of their position in each respective group. In case Bangladesh, Indonesia and/or Nepal are drawn to groups E, F and G, they will be placed in position 3 of these groups due to the fewer number of teams in these 3 groups. Due to a fewer number of hosts, there will be no host team drawn into Group H, and AFC will further follow up with the participating member associations drawn to this group for further arrangements on the venue details. Pot 4. The teams drawn from this pot will be placed in empty positions 4 of all groups from the A to D order accordingly. The remaining balls will be moved to pot 3 accordingly. Pot 3. The teams drawn from this pot will be placed in empty positions 3 of all groups from the A to H order accordingly. Pot 2. The first to 6th team drawn will be placed in empty position 2 of all groups from the A to H order accordingly. Pot 1. The first to 6th team drawn will be placed in empty position 1 of all groups from the A to H order accordingly. This shall conclude the draw for the AFC Women's Asian Cup India 2022 qualifiers.
Now that we are all clear how the draw mechanics will work, let's kindly invite today's draw conductor to the stage, AFC's Deputy General Secretary of Competitions and Football, Mr. Shin Man-gil.
Thank you, Jong-won. Participating member associations and members of media and football families watching this draw online today, very good afternoon from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. I welcome everyone to the draw for AFC Women's Asian Cup India 2022 qualifiers. As explained by the video, we have 28 participating teams in this draw, and after this draw, we'll get to know who is playing whom and where they are going to play. As explained, I will start the draw from host pot, and the country from this host pot will be hosting each of the group in these qualifiers. The first country that will host Group A, that is Chinese Taipei. 3 times champion of AFC Women's Asian Cup, but not been able to qualify for Women's Asian Cup since 2010, that will be in A1. The next team will host Group B. That is Tajikistan. Tajikistan will be hosting Group B in position 2, and its first international match was in 2017. And the next country and the participating teams and the host of Group C will be Indonesia. Indonesia will be in C4, and it was the semi-finalist of Women's Asian Cup in 1977 and 1986. Now, Group D. This country will host Group D. That is Myanmar. Myanmar will be in D1, hosting Group D. and it has participated in Women's Asian Cup 4 times. And this country will be hosting Group E, that is Uzbekistan. Uzbekistan will be looking for its 6th appearance in Women's Asian Cup, and it will be in E2. The next country will host Group F, that is Nepal. Nepal participated in Women's Asian Cup 3 times. Now it will host Group F as a position 3. And last country from the host pot that will host Group G, that is Bangladesh. Bangladesh never participated in Women's Asian Cup, and this will be the first time appearance if they qualify. Bangladesh will be in Group G, 3. Now I will continue the draw with pot 4. Once again, as explained, any country from this pot will be taking the position 4 in each of the group, and remaining countries will be moved to pot 3. The first country that will go to A4, that is Laos. Never participated in Women's Asian Cup. Therefore, if they qualify, it will be their first appearance in Women's Asian Cup. The second country from pot 4 that will go to B4, joining Tajikistan, that is Afghanistan. They played first international match in 2010, and they will fight for its debut in Women's Asian Cup. That is, Afghanistan is now B4, right? And now C4 was taken by Indonesia. Therefore, this country from pot 4 will go to D4. That is Lebanon. If they qualify, it will be their first appearance in Women's Asian Cup. Now, as explained, the remaining countries from pot 4 will be moved to pot 3. Okay. Now, countries from this pot 3 will be taking position 3 in each of the group. The first country from pot 3 that will join Laos and Chinese Taipei, that is Turkmenistan. They played the first international match in 2019. And the second country that goes to B3, joining Tajikistan and Afghanistan, that is Maldives. Again, they will fight for first appearance in Women's Asian Cup. The next country that will go to C3, they will play against Indonesia, that is Iraq. Never played in Women's Asian Cup, and it will be their first appearance if they qualify, and C3. Now, the next team that will go to D3, joining Lebanon and Myanmar, it is Guam. Guam had played in Women's Asian Cup 4 times. Now, next team, the empty position in Group E and position 3, joining Uzbekistan that is Mongolia. Mongolia played its first international match in 2018. Since F3 and G3 is occupied by Nepal and Bangladesh, this country will go to Group H, position 3. That is Malaysia. Malaysia was the third place team in 1983 Women's Asian Cup. Now moving to pot 2, the first country from pot 2 will go to the empty position of A, that is A2. That is Bahrain. Bahrain will fight for its first appearance in Women's Asian Cup. The second country from pot 2, since B2 is already taken by Tajikistan, it will go to C2 position. That is Singapore. Singapore was the third place team in 1977 Women's Asian Cup. And now going to D2, joining Myanmar, Guam, and Lebanon, that is United Arab Emirates. Also never played in Women's Asian Cup, and it will be their first appearance in Women's Asian Cup if they qualify. Now, next country will be in position 2. Since E2 is taken by Uzbekistan, it will be F2, joining Nepal. That is Hong Kong. Hong Kong was regular participant in Women's Asian Cup, but not been able to qualify since 2006. And the next country that will go to G2, joining Bangladesh, that is Islamic Republic of Iran, that will fight for its first appearance in Women's Asian Cup. And lastly, for the position of H2, that is Palestine. They played its first international match in 2005, and they will fight for its first appearance. And now finally, pot 1, all the teams in pot 1 will go to the position 1 of the each group. Since A1 is taken by Chinese Taipei, now this country will go to B1, joining Tajikistan, Maldives, and Afghanistan. That is Vietnam. Vietnam was the host of 2008 and 2014 Women's Asian Cup. Now it's looking at 9th consecutive participation in Women's Asian Cup. The next country will go to C1. That is DPR Korea, 3 times winner and 3 times runner-up of Women's Asian Cup. Now D1 position is already taken by Myanmar. Therefore, the next country will go to E1, joining Uzbekistan and Mongolia. That country is Korea Republic. Highest achievement of them is the 3rd place in 2003 Women's Asian Cup. F1 position, joining Hong Kong and Nepal. That is Philippines. Philippines was 6th place team in 2018 Women's Asian Cup, played in Jordan. Now G1, taking Islamic Republic of Iran and Bangladesh. that is Jordan, the host of 2018 Women's Asian Cup. The last participating team of the day in this draw, joining Palestine and Malaysia, that is Thailand. They played 16 times in Women's Asian Cup since 1975. This concludes the draw for AFC Women's Asian Cup India 2022 qualifiers, and I wish you all the best for the participating teams. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Shin. From 8 to H, Group 8 of the groups, clearly there's some exciting lineup for the fans and the teams. Let me recap the draw result. From Group A, we have Chinese Taipei, Bahrain, Turkmenistan, and Laos. From Group B, we have Vietnam, Tajikistan, Maldives, and Afghanistan. Group C, we have DPR Korea, Singapore, Iraq, and Indonesia. Group D, we have Myanmar, United Arab Emirates, Guam, and Lebanon. Group E, we have Korea Republic, Uzbekistan, and Mongolia. Group F, we have Philippines, Hong Kong, and Nepal. Group G, we have Jordan, Islamic Republic of Iran, and Bangladesh. And finally, Group H, we have Thailand, Palestine, and Malaysia. That is all for today. Thank you to the AFC commercial partners for your support, and very best luck to the participating teams. May the matches be played in the spirit of fair play. And wherever you are, please remember, always stay safe.